What's up, y'all? Graylan Stewart here again with another video about wholesaling real estate. So I am a virtual wholesaler and entrepreneur, and I also do have some buy and hold rentals, and we do occasionally flip houses as well. But my channel is all about the truth and the real, just keeping it real as far as real estate wholesaling goes. What we do in our business every single day is what I'm sharing with you. It's not hope or theory or what I think will work or what possibly might work. It's actual real life applications that you can actually do in your own business because we do these every day. So we wholesale full time in my business. I've got a small team that helps me, a couple of acquisition reps, a disposition rep, transaction coordinator, and of course a couple of VAs as well, and myself. So a very small team, and we do some pretty decent numbers generally. So my channel is all about just sharing my knowledge and telling you the truth about how things really work and what works best. So please tune in often because I do post a couple times a week, and I think it'll be beneficial for you, and hopefully you'll agree with me and you will like this video, give me a good thumbs up. Even if you don't like it, give me a thumbs down. I'm cool with that too. So like I said, just keep it real with you. So keep it real with me too. Comment, like, share, do whatever. But please subscribe if you do like this content, and I'll keep putting them out there. But today's video, I'm just going to tell you, today is about the money is truly in the follow-up, okay? Because hardly ever, if ever, will you ever get a deal on the very first call that you make or the very first incoming call that you take. Because typically it's going to take several different calls. I think on the last thing that I saw, and this isn't truth or anything like that, so you'll have to verify this yourself. But from the last thing I've heard, at least, and the stats that I've seen, it typically takes about 12 touches for in any type of sales business. And of course, wholesaling real estate is really just sales and marketing, okay? So, but as far as getting the property, that applies in our business as well. So if you kind of think about that, as far as follow-up goes, money truly is in the follow-up, because if you think that it takes 12 times to actually get somewhere with somebody, whether you're selling a widget of any kind or you're trying to get a property under contract because you want to sell that to a buyer, that's sales on both ends. You're selling yourself and your services to the seller initially, and then you're selling the worth of the property to an end buyer later on. So the whole process is very much sales. So follow-up is key. Follow-up is everything, I would even say, because without follow-up, you're just not going to do deals. Yeah, sure, you might get lucky here and there and get a deal or two occasionally, just by chance. But most salesmen or people in sales organizations, if you ever notice, the ones at the top, the ones that actually produce a lot, sell a lot, or get a lot of houses under contract, it's because they follow up a lot. If you ever look at those stats in any company, and it's true in my company as well, because we do have a couple of different acquisition reps, and one in particular, they follow up like crazy. And typically, 10, 12, 15 times even before they'll get a deal. But they got the deal because they did follow up that many times. And then we have others, that may try 2, 3, 5 times and get discouraged, but that's the key. Who has the strongest backbone or who has tougher skin or whatever you want to call it. Because no is just part of the process. So I would even encourage a no, because the more no's you have, the closer you are to a yes, right? But it's definitely true. I've been in sales my entire adult life, so I was always very successful at it because I was super persistent, meaning I followed up like a madman. I basically follow up until they buy what I have or they hate me, tell me to F off or whatever else, right? That's just the name of the game. That's the way it works in sales of any kind, and wholesaling is no different. Trust me. It might even take more follow-up in wholesaling than a typical sales process, because you got to think, we're asking sellers to make one of the biggest decisions of their life, as far as selling something, that's one of the biggest things that they'll ever own, most likely, or that they do own. And, you can't expect them to make that decision, the first time you ever talk to you, right? So, yeah, you definitely have to follow up, keep building that relationship with them, and hone in on their distresses, because we're always talking to distressed sellers, not necessarily a distressed house, which I've always talked about in all of my videos. So, but I will tell you, if you want to make money in this business, be good at following up, whether that's with a phone call or a text message or an email, whatever it might be, or even a video message, on Facebook, if you found them on Facebook or whatever it is. You have to follow up, and you have to follow up often. Also, I will say, if they tell you to, call me back in 2 weeks, whatever that time period is, cut that time in half, okay? So if they tell you 2 weeks, call them back in a week, because I guarantee you there's other wholesalers out there following up as well. So you could lose a deal if you don't stay on top of them. So always cut that in half. And if they happen to say, well, I told you to call me in 2 weeks. Oh, yeah, that's right. Well, I just thought I'd check in. I forgot you said 2 weeks. My bad. Just kind of play it off. But at least you won't lose the deal, because that has happened to us before. We call back in a month like they said, oh, we already sold that property. So whatever time period they tell you to follow up with, always cut it in half. I'll just tell you that. But follow up is key. So don't get discouraged after 1 or 2 or 3 or 5 or 10 times you haven't got the deal yet. Obviously, you don't want to waste time on a deal that's not a deal either. So you got to know, kind of where you're at on that. But if you know it's a distressed seller, they definitely need to sell, and they're kind of close, kind of weighing options out or whatever, then that's definitely a person you need to follow up as many times as it takes, okay? Because you can definitely get giant paydays in this business. Money is 100% in the follow-up, I promise. If you want a lot of it, do a lot of follow-up, and you will get it. I promise you that. And not only that, you're helping someone out. You're helping the seller out of their situation. You're going to help a buyer out because now they have a great rental or a great flip that they can do. You're helping your company out because you produced, revenue, and obviously you're helping your own family out. So it's a win, 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 win all the way around, and it's all because you learned how to follow up. So keep that in mind next time you're trying to get a deal. Don't get discouraged. Keep after it. Follow up as many times as it takes. Like I said, we keep people on follow up until they basically hate us or they sell us their property. Unless they tell us just to kick rocks, we're always gonna. And even after they tell us we're not interested or leave me alone, we typically still follow up with those, just not as often. But you definitely want to keep in the top of their mind. When they are ready to sell, you have to be in the top of their mind, because there's other people reaching out all the time. You're not the only one. So that's really the key. It's just hitting the timing right? Because they're going to sell eventually, probably. And if you're not top of mind, they won't remember who you are unless you are always in touch with them. Because we have had people sell us a house for lower than they could have got somewhere else, because we're the ones they've been talking to for a couple of months, and they like us, all those kind of things. That goes a long way with sellers, because they trust us more, and they know that we'll get the job done, because we wouldn't have followed up so many times if we wouldn't, right? So keep that in mind next time you're wholesaling and you're kind of getting discouraged, or you've done it 10 times and you just think there's no hope. Keep after them. Trust me, you'll get them eventually. So hopefully this content was helpful for you. Let me know in the comments if you liked it, or if you disliked it. That's cool too. Just keep it real with me like I am with you. And hopefully I'll see you in future videos. But please comment, like, share this content if you can. But definitely subscribe. I'd appreciate it. And I'll see you in the next video. Thanks a lot.